going to do a nice introduction. So, Mardochee Louis, he is an experienced financial professional with a background in auditing at a big four firm. Financials reporting for 400, I can't, okay. For Fortune 500 companies and private equity accounting. As an IRS enrolled agent, he is licensed to represent taxpayers before the IRS in audits, collections, and appeals. Mardochee advises businesses on growth strategies, financial stability, and tax planning, and actively educates entrepreneurs through workshops, webinars, and speaking engagements. His presentations covers topics like bookkeeping, best practices, tax strategies, financial forecasting, and recent tax law changes, empowering business owners to make informed decisions and achieve long-term success. So, without further ado, I would like to, can y'all just do a drum roll? Because I'm extra. Hey! So, Mardochee, would you please give us the honor and blessing us with your presence and telling us some stuff?
Of course. Thank you, Jelena. Kind words. Thank you for that. My name is Mardochee Louis. I'm an accountant. I own my own firm, MGL Consulting Group. I focus on accounting, bookkeeping, tax planning, and tax preparation. I work with entrepreneurs and small business owners on a monthly basis, keeping track of their financial information and their tax planning, and I do tax preparation. I do tax prep for individuals, partnerships, trusts, businesses, so all kinds of people. Okay? So a little background about myself. Well, she told me already, I worked for multiple firms. Started my career at Ernst & Young, also worked in private equity, asset-based lending, and also worked for Prudential in their financial reporting in a group for individual life insurance. So just a little bit of background about myself. I started my firm in 2017. Been in business for 8 years now. This is my 8th tax season. And I have clients in all over the country. So, accounting, bookkeeping, all right? So the most important thing where you need to start when it comes to accounting or bookkeeping is your business plan, right? So you wanna make sure you have your business plan, and in your business plan, it'll have your projections, like how much you expect to make for the year. So the initial time that you're doing your projections or your budget, you might be a little off, right? It's your first time doing it, so it's like a guess, right? So after maybe a year or so, you have a better idea, where you're at, and going forward, you should have a better idea how to do your projections and your budget, right? Also, in your business plan, it helps you identify who your key people are, right? So who your accountant is, who your lawyer is, who your insurance broker is. Do you have any marketing people that you're going to be working with? You want to identify who your key people are, and also, maybe when you get to a particular point, maybe you're looking to hire those people at that particular point in time. So you always want to have the best, available to you. So you don't want to when you need that person, you're randomly Googling random people, right? You want to be, shopping around for the type of people you really want to work with, personality-wise, their experience, everything like that. And also in your business plan, it'll help you pick out your business structure, right? So a lot of people like to do LLCs, but there could be another business structure depending on what your needs are or what you expect to happen. Maybe your income level, you expect to, based off that projection, based off your income level, you may choose to choose another business entity other than LLC, right? Or maybe you expect to have a certain number of investors, right? So maybe an LLC or S corp wouldn't work. Maybe you want to do a C corp because you want to have a certain amount of investors. So it really depends on how many investors you want to have, how much money you expect to have. So everybody's at a different point. So LLC, yes, it works for a lot of people, but it may not work for everyone, right? And now once you choose your business entity, okay, you want to definitely go ahead and register with the state that you're going to mainly do business in, right? So if you mainly do business in New Jersey, you want to register in New Jersey. A lot of people, they want to register in states where they have privacy and, stuff like that, and register in Delaware, but if you don't do business in Delaware, you can't register in Delaware, right? So you got to register in the state that you do business mainly. So once you do register with that business in that particular state, that's when you want to apply for your funding, okay? If you're going to use any grants, any loans, get your business bank accounts, okay? This is something also that you can put in your business plan, what you how you expect to fund your business, whether it's a loan or whatever it is, right? because that's very important. So now once you get, your loans, your business credit cards, you get your business bank account, right? You want to be able to link these information to some type of record keeping system. Normally it's QuickBooks, right? QuickBooks is like the most popular one. QuickBooks is like Nike of like record keeping, right? Everybody knows what QuickBooks is. I'm a QuickBooks specialist, right? I work on that stuff, I have clients that utilize it. But now it's not enough just to have QuickBooks and to link your bank account to it. You actually have to use QuickBooks, right? So many people have QuickBooks and the information is just piling up, transactions piling up. They don't, it's not really, that's not the purpose of it. The purpose of it is for you to use it. So you either have to learn to use it, right? Train yourself, or hire, maybe you get some type of training course, or get a consultant to teach you how to use the QuickBooks, or you hire someone that knows how to use it, right? So hire someone like me that knows how to use it. You can meet with them on a periodic basis, and they can let you know, okay, this is what your income level is like. This is what you expect to pay in taxes based off the income level. If you don't, pretty much you gotta spend money, right? It's either gonna spend it on the IRS or spend it on yourself. So okay, you gotta know what are some things that you need in your business to help it expand, whether it's marketing, whether it's hiring someone, whatever it is. You could, you spend that business expense so you don't have to, pay taxes. Okay, so. And also, you want to reconcile your bank statements every month, right? So every month you want to reconcile every month, and your bank statement should reconcile to your QuickBooks. There shouldn't be a difference. And if there's a difference, you should be able to explain the difference, right? Maybe it's an expense that you haven't paid yet, but it's in your QuickBooks. Or maybe it's a bill that you sent the bill to the person and the person didn't pay it yet, okay? You have to be able to explain why there's a difference in your QuickBooks balance versus your bank statement, which is called the bank reconciliation. So you should be able to do that every single month, okay? And now essentially the IRS says that you should be saving your receipts, right? So as you're doing your bookkeeping on a monthly basis, you should be saving your receipts, right? So the general guidance is anything above $75, you should be saving a receipt for. And now if you have organized books and records, like a QuickBooks or something like that, they generally don't require receipts under $75 if you keep everything organized in an organized fashion. But now if everything's not organized in an organized fashion, you may want to save all those receipts because you're not organized. You're not keeping all the track of all your information. So now also you want to, on your desktop, on your computer, right, you could like keep track of all your information. So like, your bank statements, your loan statements, if you pay any sales tax returns, if you have any sales tax returns, you could save those sales tax returns. Save your receipts, copies of your checks that you pay people, any of the bank deposits. Pretty much the more backup that you keep, the better it is for you, because you'll be able to explain what you did. Because a lot of times the year goes by and people can't explain what happened. They can't explain what they did. They don't know what happened. So if you keep this documentation, you'll have a better idea. Okay? And now you want to have checklists, right? Daily checklists, weekly checklists, set some time apart to do this. Especially if you're going to be doing it yourself, you should, just like you schedule time with your clients, you schedule time for other things, you should schedule time to do this, because this is going to dictate whether you should stay in business or not, add business lines or not. It helps you make decisions. So it's very important stuff. If you don't keep track of the stuff, you can't keep track of, you can't make accurate decisions because you won't have that clarity. Okay? So once you do the checklist and the year goes by and you have your numbers, right, you can make your decision whether you're going to hire someone, add a business line, take away a business line, whatever it is, update your business plan, maybe update your projections, right? Maybe your projections were off, right? So you say, I thought I was going to make $250 this year, $250,000. You only made like 50. There's a disconnect there. What happened? You know what I mean? So that happened. That's not even the worst situation I had. I had people say they thought they were gonna make 50,000, made 40. 500,000, made 500,000, and only made 40. So like, how you go from $500,000 to $40,000? You know what I mean? It's kind of like, there's a big disconnect there. Like you got to understand your market too. Do market research. Look at your competitors. What are your competitors doing? How do they market themselves? What are they utilizing? What kind of software they use? What are they training? So that's important stuff too. Not enough people do market research, just kind of check to see, You know, like act like a customer, pretty much. Like, you know, if you're gonna be, you know, if you're like, for me, I'm an accountant, I'll act like a taxpayer or business owner looking for accounting services and see what my competitors are doing. So you could do the same thing in your businesses. So yeah. So I don't know if anybody has any particular questions.
How many clients do you have?
How many clients do I have?
I'm being honest. And how do you balance them? Because
Okay.
sometimes accountants have a lot of clients and they are some slip through the cracks.
So you're asking me how I deal with that?
Yeah.
I generally just schedule them out. So like if somebody, you know, hits me up and say, hey, I want to do my taxes, you know, I put them on the schedule and just manage them accordingly,
So
you know?
like, okay, so like I'm gonna give you for instance, so my husband actually has a business.
Okay.
He has a trucking business.
Okay.
So he does very, very well, but I feel like his accountant, I don't like him because I'm in banking
Okay.
and his accounting he likes this guy. But I feel like this guy is not doing what he needs done. So my question is always, how do you handle the different clients? Because he does very well in his business, but I feel like his accountant does not do well for him for the money that he charges. So
Okay.
that's something like, for me as a banker, is to open up the eyes of those that are in business, that are starting the business. They need to pick the accountant that's gonna pay attention. If they are basic, they need the basic. If they need immediate, you know what I mean? So
Right.
it's sometimes that can be a difference and a disconnect.
Right.
Because you might just, and there's no disrespect, there's some that are just working for H&R Block. Some people go to that actually are doing certain things, taxes, and they say they're business taxes. How do you tell somebody how to choose the best accountant? Because that's very.
Well, I'm an accountant. I tell them to choose me.
I know.
So I think I'm the best. I think I'm the best accountant. I really do think that.
You know what?
I don't even think that.
You have
'cause-
confidence in you.
yeah, I don't think that just because it's me. I really think that. I really do think I'm.
But I'm just saying, like, how do you, if they don't choose you, how would you advise somebody to choose?
Okay, I would say like is your accountant approachable? You know, do you like to talk to them? You know, like how I would say this, right? Like how easy it is to get in contact with them. Do they have a system? You know.
Have you ever had a trucking business that you do accounting for? You know, it's very detailed. There's so much that goes on. You have to have your state and license and all this type of.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
that becomes the accountant's responsibility. But when it falls on my husband, it don't fall on my husband. It falls on me.
take my card. We'll talk, okay? We'll talk, okay? Yeah. We gotta.
I'm just being honest. I'm just asking honest questions.
I think it's better suited we do a one-to-one.
Oh yeah, I'm with you.
Okay. You got a card?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I'll get your card afterwards, okay? All right. Question.
This is a serious question.
Of course.
This doesn't pertain to me. Have you and clients ever gone to jail? And if they have,
Jail. No, none of my clients have gone to jail. I've had clients owe money, substantial amount of money, because of some stuff that they did and they didn't have enough write-offs. But no, none of my clients have ever gone to jail. I would say that they have different divisions in the IRS. I don't think any of my clients have to deal with the guys with the guns on their waist. So those are the yeah. Huh?
We're not in the South.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So yeah, no, I haven't really had to deal with that. I feel like that's like a myth. Like people always think I'm gonna go to jail. You don't make that much money to go to jail. I mean, to be honest, they're going after like Wesley Snipes and like Lauryn Hill and Fat Joe and people like that. Yeah, Fat Joe had a yeah, huh?
I didn't know regular Joe Schmo out here in the community.
I don't think so. I mean, I was talking to a lady and she was talking about how like there's so many people in this country like that make so much money that literally don't report anything. They're just saying like they just don't do it. I don't know. I mean, they're not my clients, so I don't really, But yeah, to answer your question, no, I don't have experience with people going to jail. Any other questions? I know we gotta have some other questions. Somebody. Okay.
So for somebody who's just starting out in their business, what do you suggest to be like maybe somebody who can't afford you just yet, what do you suggest them to do when they're trying to put together their business plan? Like they're still doing it all by themselves. Like what's like a basic business plan model that they could kind of start with?
Yeah, I would definitely, you could like, okay, there's an organization called SCORE, right? So SCORE is like they do like business mentorship for like like for pretty much new business owners, existing business owners. So I would just try to utilize SCORE, and they have like different like webinars and stuff like that. You know, I could send you if you wanna, if anyone that wants to, I could send you guys the link or whatever, so you can kind of utilize SCORE. I would just generally say like, uh, try to learn some type of a QuickBooks system, like a system, like I said, QuickBooks or something. Like try to learn it on your own. Try to use YouTube videos, or maybe hire a consultant to teach you how to utilize it. Or you can kind of use your like an Excel file. But the problem with the Excel file is manual, so it can be human errors, and also you have to be very careful. You know, you have to be more diligent. You know, it's like more like manual. So with QuickBooks, it's kind of like an automated process. You can link your business bank account to it automatically. So every time you swipe your card, or every time you get money, it automatically uploads. So I would just try to learn QuickBooks as best as you can. I know it could be difficult if you don't have like an accounting background, but that's the best way, I would say.
Can I just say something?
Yep.
So one thing that I would say was probably like my downfall when I was starting is that I just assumed that I could not afford a lot of stuff. But the reality is that you kind of can, right? So sometimes like you could look at, you know, it might be what you charge for bookkeeping on a monthly basis, right? Sometimes accountants do it per the amount of pages or however it goes, right? So it might be something that you actually can afford, but I just started to look at pricing differently, right? So instead of saying like, I can't afford it, I would just say, what could I do to make myself afford it, right? So for example, let's just say, you know, I have this venue and I'm having a networking event, right? Like twice a month, and I charge X amount of dollars. And maybe there's a bottom line that I need to hit that can make me afford to pay my bill. You know what I'm saying? So just start to get a little bit creative. But if you're not a person that normally does it, if it takes you more time to do it, then you also have to equate your time to evaluate it like dollars, right? So you might think you're saving money, but if you're spending a substantial amount of time doing it, you're taking away from your business that's making you money. Right. So just kind of
Yeah, question.
So, obviously everyone's thinking about their taxes now, tax season coming up. Do you have a good example of someone who, maybe, they just did taxes themselves for a long time, but then, they utilize your services and realize, how much money they could be saving in deductions or anything like that, where,
Yeah, I see a lot of stuff, especially business owners or people that have real estate. Like I had a client, pretty much they were doing their own like taxes for a long time, and they had a multifamily, and they literally weren't calculating their depreciation at all. And I looked at this Schedule E, and I'm like, I asked her like, who did this? I'm like, who did this? She's like, oh, I did it myself. I'm like, I could tell, it looks like it. It looks like a 3-year-old did this. Like I don't know. So so like stuff like that happens, fairly often, or like, sometimes some people, they come from an accountant. Like for me, I've been in business for 11 years. I had my own business for 8 years. I'm 34. A lot of accountants are like 100, like, so it's like, yeah, they're like 100, yeah. They're like 100. So it's like, for me, that's kind of like, that's an advantage too. That's like an opportunity right there, in the sense of a lot of them are stuck in their old ways. Some of them make mistakes. They're making mistakes, and stuff, or they're just slow, or whatever, so. I hear it all, you know what I mean? So I try to do my best to like not be. I mean, we're human, right? Like, I mean, I'm not trying to like say, oh, they're not. Obviously, they're reputable people. They've been working for 30 years. They know what they're doing, but it's probably like winding down. You know what I mean? But so yeah. Hopefully that answers your question. Yeah, we have another. Dave, what's going on?
How do you go about transitioning from an LLC into an S corp, and what's the differences of how you have to operate?
Okay, that's a good question. Okay, so the whole debate between LLC versus S corp, essentially the long story here is that as an LLC, you have to pay self-employment tax. Okay, self-employment tax is 15.3% of your overall tax. Okay, so what that means is if you make, let's go with $100,000, right? So if you make $100,000, okay, you have to pay your tax. You have to pay tax at your federal tax rate. Okay, so let's say your federal tax rate is like, I don't know, 24%, right? So you got to pay the 24%. First of all, okay, let's say he's a single person. You take a standard deduction, 14,000. You're going to get taxed on 86, okay? So now on that 86,000, you got to pay your 24% federal tax rate plus the 15.3% federal tax rate, okay? But now, as an S corp, in that same example, okay, you can split up the income, okay? And the income that you put on a K1 doesn't get hit with that 15.3%. So the tax savings is essentially, let's say in that same example, $100,000, you take 50,000 and multiply 50,000 by 15.3%. Your tax savings would be that because it goes, half of it goes on the K1. But if you become an S corp, you have to put somebody on W2, either yourself or employees. So now, if you put yourself on W2s, you're going to have to pay that 15.3% because you have to pay half of the of the Social Security Medicare, because essentially on a W-2, 7.65% of Social Security and Medicare gets taken out, okay, on the W-2. And now the employer has to match the other half, 7.65%. That's where the 15.3% comes into play. And now if you're paying someone, an employee, right, the employee is paying 7.65% and you have to match that 7.65%, okay? You have to pay them, okay? Huh? It,
He's speaking numbers.
it, okay. Am I losing you guys?
Yes,
I'm losing you guys. Okay. Okay, long story short, okay, LLC and S Corp, okay? As an LLC, okay, you have to pay 15.3% additional taxes. But when the reason why you want to become an S Corp is because once your income level gets to a certain point, and you don't have enough deductions, okay, you should switch over to become an S corp because you save money on taxes.
But you have to reach a certain.
You should, because the reason why you don't want to become an S corp too early is because you have to do payroll, which is costly. You have to pay payroll fees. You have to issue a W-2, and you have to file 1120S. Okay, I wish I had yeah, exactly. If I had a whiteboard, I would be able to visually explain to you, if you do LLC, you're gonna spend an extra $20,000. If you want to save the $20,000, you should go S corp because of X, Y, and Z. Boom, boom, boom. It's a very complex, high level stuff. You know what I mean? So for me to explain it without a visual, obviously I understand it, so I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, obviously, you know. But if I had a visual, it'd be easier for me to explain.
So how about the corporation?
Which one?
A corporation.
A C corp?
C corp versus a LLC.
Okay, C corp, you get double taxation. So the only reason why you would want to be a C corp is if you have a lot of investors. So if you get a lot of investors, especially you can get a lot of money. Because of S corp, you can only have 100 investors or less. So if you plan on having more than 100 investors, you should become a C corp. But the only problem becoming a C corp, you have double taxation, because the C corp is the only business entity that gets taxed itself, and then it gets taxed again on the personal tax return. So it gets taxed twice. So that's why if you go that route, you better make sure you got some people with millions of dollars to give you money. So why would you do that? Oh, you just want to know if I know my stuff? Okay. Okay. No, it's all good. Hey,
You already made the $1 million, that's what it is.
I mean, it's all good. I mean, I know my stuff. You know.
Joking. It's just good to explain all of them because
Yeah.
there is the LLP, there's a bunch of them.
There's a bunch of them. Yes, absolutely. I mean, hopefully I didn't lose you guys on the LLC, S corp. I broke it down. It's good.
I got it.
You got it? Okay, cool. Okay.
We good with questions?
We good.
More questions?
No, any more questions? Anybody else? Anybody else? You had another question. I know you put your hand up. You sure?
I just wanted to know, I know that this time of year is very busy for accountants.
Of course.
What do you do during the year for your clients after the whole tax rush is over? Do you bookkeeping, the buys?
Yeah, I do bookkeeping. Like, so the rest of the year, my main focus is bookkeeping, accounting, and advising. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And I also do a lot of networking events. Trying to like gear up for the next tax season. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
I did have a question. Of course. So from a tax perspective, when you're advising your clients, and they may have a W-2, employees. For them to save on taxes, what are the recommendations that you offer them as a W-2 employee to save on taxes,
Yeah.
if any?
W-2 is tough because it's not that much deduction you can take, unless you have rental real estate, you got kids, you could just have a baby, I always tell people that. Just have another baby, I always say, if you could, I always recommend if you could do like a little side, something on the side, a little Uber or something.
So basically you're saying becoming a business owner is more advantageous?
Yeah, 100%. I always tell people that the tax code is for business owners and people that own real estate. It's not really, I'm not saying it's not for, you gotta know the rules, right? You can't complain about something you don't know the rules to. I'll tell people all the time, you don't learn the rules and then you complain. I ask these people that, why you? Why you get a big refund? You didn't do anything all year. You just show up to my office and say, oh, it's not enough. Why you? You didn't do anything. So it's like, that's why I tell people, why you? And then whatever, so, okay. Huh? No, for real, you gotta plan. You gotta do some type of planning. You get what you put in, you know what I mean? So if you put a little bit of work in, because like I said, yeah, we work and stuff like that, but you're not working towards the tax code. You know what I mean? If you want to work towards the tax code, you got to work the tax code. So yeah.
I have a question for you. Can you, and I think that this might also add value to your question earlier. Can you tell us how many people you've connected with since the summertime?
How many people?
Yeah.
Like 257. Yeah.
And how do you stay connected with those people?
Well, that's 257 new people. That's not even like the clients I already had. Yeah, so I already had like, probably like 350 or
So
something.
how do you stay connected with them? What do you do?
I go to events. I just try to go to events.
What's your method?
Oh, I have like a log.
Okay.
So like I have like an Excel log and I keep track of all my people. So like anybody I met in like the last year, I could probably find them in like a minute.
So when is our next connection?
Sometime in a couple months, yeah, he's coming soon. It's coming soon.
Every 6 months.
Every 6 months. I try to connect with like everybody at least twice a year if I can.
So just to kind of add to it. So thank you so much. Anybody have any more questions? Thank you. Right?
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
So,
Oh.
wait,
If anyone wants to connect with me, feel free to connect with me. I have business cards, so yeah, I'm looking to connect with everyone.
so just stay here for a second. So in addition to all of that he does, the networking, the, clients that are in state, out of country, whatever we're gonna say, right? He also is a person who is very well connected to the community. He's a big basketball advocate, right? Player, even though like I'm better than him. But, no, but he's phenomenal. And so I would just like to take this moment to talk about a project that him and I are working on. So, this is his 9th year that he is putting together a basketball tournament. It's a classic, right? And this is in honor of his late friend, Sherrod Coleman. He went to school, they all went to school in West Orange, and we are in the process of locking this down. So this is going to be on July 20th, right? That's the date that we are focused on. So probably by next week, everything will be together. This is a passion project, so he's my client, right? But I'm helping him put all of this together. This is a passion project of his because this is to help raise awareness for gun violence, right? So his late friend did pass away to gun violence, and in support of acknowledging that, also being a part of the West Orange and neighboring communities, he has this annual basketball tournament. So if there's anybody here that would like to support it in any type of way in terms of contribution, or we're even looking for volunteers, or if you know any other organizations that would like to support us, I would love to be able to get your contact information, because this is something that we are going to continue to grow, as well as his passion is raising additional money and then creating camps for those kids. So on top of him being able to help you out with your finances, he's also in a space of giving back. And so I just would like to acknowledge that, because he's not just smart, but he has a heart as well. So, thank you. All right.